The days of leather and denim.
You gotta love those days, but I don't know what the hell that was.
That was a great song.
No, you know what that was? That was some little fucking pussy-ass motherfucker wanting to do a little Kid Rock wannabe bullshit, which Kid Rock is a fucking lame-ass pussy in himself. This motherfucker, I tell you what, if I see him on the street, his teeth are going to be on the edge of my baseball bat embedded.
Oh, because he knocked your little precious Kurt Cobain.
That, and I just don't like the son of a bitch.
You don't even know him.
I don't have to.
Yeah. Who's judgmental now?
Well, I guess I'm being a little judgmental right now.
I know.
I'll own up to it.
God, you dropped the F-bomb like 6 times in like 4 sentences.
You know what? I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. After that little opening, you cannot criticize my F-bomb dropping for this show.
Why?
Not for this show.
Because it was in a song?
Well, after the dude goes on a rant, suck my cock, Cobain, and blah, 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 blah. You know what, motherfucker?
I know, I hurt your feelings.
Look, I've only got one. Plural. Not plural. Singular.
It has Kurt Cobain's name written all over it.
No, it's got Courtney Love's name written all over it, and it itches like a motherfucker.
I think you're pretty much your chances of having his love child's pass, so you might as well just calm down. It'll be okay.
I need a Xanax and a vodka.
You might need something more than that, and you were just blew up over nothing, over a song. No,
but hey, I've got some great news. This is like the best news I have heard in a very long time, and I want to share this with you.
I'm scared now.
Give me a drum roll.
No, do I look like a drummer? I'm a guitar player. I'm not a drummer.
They are canceling American Idol.
Yeah, I know, that is pretty great.
Dude, I heard about that, and I've been so psyched about it all week. They are canceling American Idol. This has been way overdue. This is the show that should have never existed right next to Dancing with the Stars. That show should never existed. And all these so-and-so's got talent, that's crap television, people. But one down and a few more to go.
And you got quite a few more to go because there's a lot of them that pop up overnight.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that is I'm not a big fan of it either. So, I like to see something like, how about American Rock Idol?
No, screw
people that can play instruments and actually play instead of dancing to electronic music.
Here's an idea for you. Why not have these television crews just pop up at different bars across the United States or whatever country they want to do this in, and surprise, bar bands, you're on television.
Well, like I said, make it a thing where these bar bands, local bands can come and compete against each other. Then you have your top rock band. Give them a contract.
It's not a competition. Let them play for what they are. Let people judge for what they are. And don't make it a competition. That's one thing that makes me sick about this. I want to say American mentality, but it goes beyond that. It's not about competition. Everybody wants to make everything about competition. This is better. That is better. Screw that.
Everyone gets a trophy.
Well, I'm not saying everybody gets a trophy.
Life is a competition. That is a part of being in life. If you're not the best at something, then someone else is going to be, and they're going to come along and take it away from you. Yeah. That's what life's about. It is competition. If you don't do your best, someone's going to come along and snatch up what could be yours because you're not doing your best.
See, I'm more of a cooperation person.
With who?
With whoever.
Okay. Go ahead. No, let's hear this.
No. What are you laughing about? As long as you cooperate with me, everything will go well.
Right. As long as I get my way, we'll all be okay.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, no. Life doesn't work that way. That's what competition's all about. What's the point of even having football, baseball?
You know what? Those pointless things, and yes, they are pointless, folks. You just mentioned. I'm speechless here. I mean, how could you even bring that in? That's what does that have to do with anything?
Well, to you it's pointless, but to someone else it's not. That's the point.
We're talking about the idealism of competition versus cooperation.
Yeah. Remember back in the day they used to have Battle of the Bands?
You know what?
That was the whole point of it.
Yeah, but you know what? Back in the day, when they had Battle of the Bands, those bands got together with the bar owners, and we're talking several bar owners. Everybody cooperated and made these things happen. And they weren't necessarily playing in competition with each other. They were playing just to be heard. There was no competition. It took a lot of cooperation just to get this thing going.
At the end, somebody won money.
No, actually, most of the time they didn't win money. And I should know because I worked in that field. What they won was an opportunity to open for a bigger band. That's what they won. If they got paid anything at all, it was a percentage of the door.
No, I think
that's the way it was.
I think the way it needs to be is to have a competition.
What does competition do?
You pull the best band out of 15,
Who decides
20
the
bands.
best band?
You get judges.
Who says those judges have any taste? You want to get fucking Simon Dumbass taste up there saying, fuck him. I can't stand that son of a bitch. That hoity-toity Simon, whatever the hell his name is. No, I don't want that son of a bitch deciding what music I'm going to listen to.
He's not even on the show anymore, and he hasn't been for a while.
Yeah, well, that just shows you how much I pay attention to American Idol.
That's not the point. The point is, why not give the opportunities to bands that are coming up and are trying to make it?
You know what
You're saying no. Let's not do anything for anybody.
No. I'm saying let's give them the opportunity, but let's not turn it into a competition.
That makes no sense at all. Why not? We're just going to watch a bunch of bar bands play on TV, and no, if they suck, they can keep playing. It's okay.
I'm saying they play one, maybe 3 songs tops, and then the next band comes up.
And what would be the point of that show? If no one's getting eliminated and no one wins the show, what would be the point of or the purpose of the show?
To introduce the masses.
To watch a bunch of shitty bands that no one cared about to begin with.
Who says they're shitty bands?
Well, if they're still playing in bars and they haven't made it yet, there's probably a reason why.
Well, I think you will agree with this statement that I'm about to make. A lot of the music that comes out of, Hollywood, I guess we would say, sucks.
Well, yeah, any kind of corporate-focused music is put together or collaborated by a corporation is crap.
Corporate music has given us Justin Bieber, Miley Cyrus. Yeah, you know what? I think the masses are done with this. Let the fresh blood come in. Get them, get the bar bands in. I've seen some great bar bands.
And where are they now?
I have no clue.
Exactly. Because they didn't win a competition and get to move on to something else.
Well, it's not about winning a competition. It's not a competition. It's just about having the music put out there and establishing a fan base. But if they don't have the opportunity to have the music put out there, how are they ever supposed to establish the fan base? And really, your following, your local band following is going to follow you, let's say for 60 miles tops.
How much does it cost to book an average band?
It depends on the band. It really
Give me some average prices.
An average bar band? Well, it also depends on the bar. If the bar has a good crowd, and the bar is well known for this, maybe the bar will pay them in addition to the door fee. Or maybe the bar will actually sell tickets.
Okay, I need a dollar amount here.
Well, I would say your normal bar band could you're looking at a couple $100 usually.
Okay. So you take that couple $100 plus what they bring in the door. They may walk out of there.
And that's not including their bar tab.
Right. They may walk out of there with like $500 or $600. So now they have to split that $500 or $600.
No, that's too much money.
Okay, so that proves my point even better. Thank you. Let's say $400. So now that $400 gets split among all the band members. So then we got to pay for traveling and food and everything else, and of course the bar tab. Right. So they're not making a living off doing that.
Oh no.
That's my point. Give them the opportunity to get signed to where they're going to get paid for their music.
Well, I'm not saying you want to make a competition of it. I'm saying don't make a competition of it. Just let them be heard.
How do you pick a winner without a competition?
Why does there have to be a winner?
That doesn't even make sense.
Okay, let me give you an example.
If I'm not going to win anything, why would I pack my gear up and head out with my band to go play?
Ozzy Osbourne, Alice Cooper are in a band off. Who wins?
Whoever gets voted through.
And who's voting?
That's the whole thing. You find some judges. Get some people from.
You know what? We live in a technological age where these things called cell phones exist.
Hang on, I gotta shut you off real quick. Go ahead.
Are you back?
Oh, no, I'm sorry. I didn't mean for the middle of my sentence to interrupt the beginning of yours. No, please go ahead.
Okay, so
no, whatever.
People could watch this stream from their cell phones, from their laptops, from their televisions, and they could vote accordingly using whatever device.
Oh, no, it's a competition. Don't let that happen.
If you want to have a voting aspect for it, then let the people decide and screw the judges.
Because the people are such great taste in music. That's why we have Justin Bieber, Miley Cyrus, and all the other shit. Yeah, let's leave it to the people, because the people are really good at choosing music. I say let's invite radio station DJs. Let's invite the P&R people from the different record companies.
You're still got a corporate thing going on here, okay?
You just have it out for corporations. It doesn't matter, but
I don't have it out for corporations.
Really? Then how are you going to press a record or sell a record without a corporation? I mean, you got that kind of money?
Actually, it's not as bad as what you think.
Oh, we'll put it together on our computer. It sounds like crap. Put it on CD and
you
stick it out.
You could press it yourself or have it pressed.
Yeah.
Now, it's going to cost you a chunk, but not that bad. It'll cost you less than the price of a new car.
Now that you have all these CDs... If you
distribute it yourself.
Yeah, good luck with that.
Yeah.
What are you going to do, sell them out of your trunk?
Well, I mean, again, we have this technological invention called the Internet, where, bands that have been heard can sell and distribute CDs.
And it still don't work out that great for them.
No, it doesn't.
They still struggle. Because you need that corporate backing.
How many people buy CDs in stores anymore? How many people buy CDs? When was the last time you bought a CD?
I will not implicate myself.
Yeah, it was 1990 what?
I will not implicate myself.
Yeah, okay. Nowadays people...
Hey, Sean, what else do you do on the internet that you're not supposed to do? Let's throw me under the bus. Exactly. Thanks, dick.
I know first aid.
Whatever.
I'll make sure the bus driver's okay.
Yeah. You know who's driving the bus?
Me?
The feds.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, see, that doesn't work out too well for me.
There you go. Sean's conspiracy theory. The feds are driving the bus that are running us all over.
Oh, when they run you over, you know it. It ain't a picnic, I can guarantee you that. I think somebody in this room got a cease and, or wasn't it a cease and desist? Whatever it's called. What was it called?
Well, you know what? I knew somebody who...
You knew somebody. I knew somebody that knew somebody.
I knew somebody who knew somebody some time ago who had supposedly got a angry Napster letter, but thousands of people got those. Yeah.
But that's my point. How was that feeling when you got that letter in the mail? The old butthole pucker a little bit?
No, I can't remember if I kept it or wiped my ass with it. It was one or the other.
I would have framed it.
Well, I think I thought about it because of some of the things that it had mentioned.
Just the fact you pissed off Metallica.
Well, it was somebody who I knew that knew somebody that they knew,
Either way. I mean, we've all dabbled with this whole music scene. We both know quite a bit about the music scene because of the stuff we've been involved with. But I still say it's not a bad idea to have something like this for these bands to have the opportunity to move to that next level. Because you got bands that are spinning their wheels for years.
Once upon a time, there was a website called Justin.tv or Justin TV. And I believe they got bought out. I want to say they got bought out by Google. Don't quote me on that, but that's what I think would happen. But Justin TV was a live streaming, I don't know if you'd say service, but it's a live streaming website where anybody could put up their own channels. And there were bars and radio stations and so forth and so on that did live stream to where you could see, what's going on in Joe's bar in, No Name, South Carolina. And you could see the live bands performing, which I thought was a great idea. But the bad thing about it is in like the bar situation, a lot of bars don't have the gear to have the production value, the sound quality. Now, luckily, in a lot of the places that I worked in, one place especially, I mean, I got to play with a, big old, huge Mackie board that was bigger. That was just freaking huge. It was bigger than your desk. And
I have a big desk. Look, that's all great. That possibility is out there and can happen. That's awesome. But my point is, what difference did it make that a bunch of people were sitting at home watching them on Justin TV?
Okay, so they get to see the different bands and know of their existence. Maybe they go to iTunes, or maybe they contact the band. Maybe they go to the Facebook or wherever they go and see where they can get the album.
That still doesn't help them get signed.
Well, the whole thing is not necessarily to get signed, because look at it. When they get signed, they're pretty much signing away half of their earnings, at least half of their earnings.
Okay.
I mean, so it's kind of a do you get signed and have the backing of the corporation, or do you say screw that, I want all the money?
Okay, but if you're not doing your own P&R, which most people don't even know where to begin with that, and even how to promote music or promote anything for that matter.
Back in the day, bands would print up their own shirts. They would print up their own bumper stickers. You had, their own CDs or cassettes with, a little 2-page sleeve or something, a little website, visit us here, or you had the flyers, the constantly circulating flyers were playing here and there, and, and it'd be interesting, when you get bands with followers from like out of state, they come with their own groupies, like 20 people or so, and then you got another band from another state with their own little set of groupies. And the bar scene back in the day, it was great.
Still don't get you signed. And we're back. That just didn't seem like a long enough break.
I didn't even have a chance to get a cigarette.
No, you didn't. I'm really surprised you didn't run out and grab one real quick. Well, next time.
Yeah, next time I'll have two.
Does that make up for the one you missed?
It does. So yeah, it does.
Yeah. So that's okay then.
Yeah, it's absolutely okay. And you know what? Yeah, it's okay.
Okay, so we're done with the debate and the music thing, because that can go on all night, and
it could.
And I don't want it to go that direction. Let's talk about something more upbeat.
Something more upbeat.
Well,
did Justin Bieber die in a plane crash?
No.
Damn it.
You can keep your hopes up, but it ain't going to happen. Not yet. We're not that lucky. Only the good ones go down in plane crashes.
True that.
So I saw online the other day, there's this guy that works at this little, I guess it's a Mexican restaurant. I don't even know the town it's in offhand. I just caught bits and pieces of the story. But I guess there's this woman that's disabled that comes to this restaurant every day. Now this guy is watching this from, I guess, across the room, and he decides to break out his phone and record it because the guy working behind the counter sees the woman at the door, so he runs out front, opens the door for her so she can come in. Now, most of us would be like, well, that's very polite, to make sure you let her in and hold the door for her. That's great. More people should do that.
Absolutely.
But that's where it even gets crazier. This guy goes beyond that. Because apparently this woman is disabled and has issues with eating. So he goes and puts rubber gloves on, goes to the counter, helps her get her food, gets her back at the table, starts to cut up her food for her and help feed her.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm telling you, wow. I've never got that kind of service. Not at no restaurant. But yeah, I mean, I guess this happens multiple times a week that she comes in and does this, and he goes out and helps her because she can't do it herself.
You know what's very interesting is, this is great, and I hope that more things like this actually go on. But what I think would be even better is if society itself got to a point where stories like this were the norm. It wasn't, groundbreaking news or anything. It was just the norm, the way people acted, the way people did things. You see someone that needs assistance, you help them out.
Well, it used to be that way.
What happened?
I don't even know where to begin on that. I mean, society's kind of dropped the ball. We don't care about each other nowadays like we used to. We just don't look out for our fellow man.
Well, if you look at the 60s and the 70s, you had a lot of this. People looking out for each other and so forth. And we've got our little 80s hairband thing going on, and I dig it. But also with the 80s, you had a big commercialism push. You had to wear the $300 shoes, the $1,200, $2,000 suits. You had to, I don't know. Cocaine really fucked up America.
Is that what it is? Cocaine fucked up America?
Yeah, that's what it is.
Well, I think there's a little more behind it than just cocaine.
Well, obviously, but, to sum things up.
Well, unfortunately, we do live in a society where we can't trust people. Nowadays, the violence is everywhere. It's just, back in the day, you didn't hear about it in small towns at all. It just didn't happen. Nowadays, even in your small towns, the craziness happens. I mean, we just had a guy in Marshall pull a gun on a police officer and tried shooting him. So, yeah, I mean, it's just one of those things where small towns affected by it now. So, I mean, the mentality of everyone's changed. And people don't feel safe helping others. But when you see someone that's disabled and they're trying to get in a door and they just want to eat a meal like the rest of us do, I don't see no reason why you wouldn't help them.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And I know we agree we weren't going to talk about the Marshall thing, and without thinking about it, I totally threw it out there.
But, I want to thank you for not eating chili or burritos or any kind
I thought about it.
Very gaseous food. See, I was going to pay you back. I was going to pay you back this week, but I said, no, not going to do it.
Oh, yeah.
I'll see if he lives up to his word.
You're such a pacifist. Or would that be
pacifist? And I'm unstable.
Okay. Well, I can't even argue with that statement, so I'll let you have that.
I'm not going to say I'm a pacifist.
I figured you were like eating some deep fried Spam burgers or something.
Oh, let me tell you something. Spam should have never been invented. It is an evil, evil, horrible thing. And I don't understand why the Hawaiians like it so much. Love you Hawaiians, you people are great, but I don't see how you can stand to eat that shit. Now, Vienna sausages, on the other hand, you cannot mess with the Vienna sausages. Those things.
How is it you can eat Vienna sausage, but you won't touch Spam?
That Spam.
Well, what do you think's in that Vienna sausage?
I don't care. I don't care. It's great.
No.
I'll put Vienna sausage.
Don't get me wrong. I like them, but I like Spam too.
Oh
yeah.
Oh no.
Yep. I'm that potted meat. There's another thing. I'll eat that too.
Yeah, not a big fan.
The deviled ham. You didn't like that?
No.
I know when you and I would do our days of fishing where we'd spend all day on the boat, we would take all those cans of Vienna sausage, potted meat, deviled ham.
What was great about the Vienna sausages, it was they doubled as bait. I mean, you could sit there, eat your Vienna sausages and, throw some on a hook and hopefully catch fish with it. And sometimes you did.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. It is nasty stuff, but God, it tastes good.
Yeah.
I mean, I think we totally left the whole Good Samaritan part over.
We went from Good Samaritan to processed foods like that.
This is what happens when you put two squirrels in a room. Yeah. We go way off topic.
Yeah. Spam? Where?
Yeah. Squirrel! It happens. I know.
So what are we going to call this show? Good Samaritans and Attack of the Munchies?
Attack of the Squirrels. That does happen a lot, it seems like.
I read a story, and the Russian space agency attempted to launch a Mexican satellite into orbit.
So you're saying this was a 77 Nova that they fitted a rocket on? They retrofitted it with a rocket.
Well, if I could think of I can't even think of a good analogy of this. I mean, first of all, you got the people who were the first people in space. They were the space pioneers of planet Earth, the Russians. Okay?
I thought you were going to say the Mexicans, and I was like, really? Well, I don't remember the Spanish people being the first to go to the moon.
Well, the Mexicans took us to space, but just in a different way. A way which I don't think you're familiar with. But I am. But anyway, you would think that the pioneering Earthlings would have figured out how to reenact their 1958 rocket launch, I think it was, or 56. These people put Sputnik into space. They put the first man into space, I believe. And now they can't, for some reason, they can't resupply the International Space Station, and they can't even get a freaking Mexican satellite into orbit. What the hell's going on? Who do they have running their space thing?
Well, let's think about this. All our cars end up in Mexico.
Now, before you go there, I don't want to get in a comparison of international goods. I don't want to get in a comparison of Russian this and American that, and because let me tell you something, very little is left made here in America.
Well, no. I'm not going to say where it's made. I think my thing is, first of all, where did Mexico get a hold of this rocket?
Well, no. The Russians had the rocket.
Okay, the Russians had the rocket.
Mexico had the satellite.
Where did they come up with it? They steal it off somebody's house, or is this like
no? This is an actual satellite, not a satellite dish.
Where the hell did they get that at?
Beats me, man. But you know what? Welcome to the space age, Mexico.
It's one thing to come up here and take our muscle cars and take them down there
and turn them into lowriders.
But now you're taking our satellites.
Well, they're not our satellites. We can't.
Well, I'm pretty sure most of that stuff down there came from America sometime or another.
Well, technically, they are part of America. They just happen to be Central America. A little geography correction for you. And you're giving me a stare like, don't you ever correct me again, you son of a bitch. I will rip your head off.
Well, you're really good at reading thoughts.
I'm psycho, remember. Psychic.
Psychotic.
That too.
Yeah, something along those lines. So yeah, I mean, first of all, if you're going to go to Mexico and take a satellite, really, do you expect it to work?
Well, a long time ago, and this is a little off topic, but I've read a story of a man. He was streaming. He was in Mexico streaming a movie on his phone or on his laptop, and then he gets hit with like a $35,000 phone bill because of the data charges, right?
So you can't stream anything on your phone in Mexico?
No. You can, but you got international fees, you got data package fees, and all this stuff, and it really surprised him. But what really surprised me was the fact that he was able to do that in Mexico.
Why would that surprise you? You don't think they have cell phones and stuff?
Well, I guess they do.
Oh, I guarantee you the cartel does.
Well, yeah, but I mean that's like.
So if they have cell towers, I mean, you're going to have service. I mean, it's not going to be probably the greatest service in the world, but I mean, I'm sure they would have service.
I think they've got cheap prescriptions too.
Well, yeah, I'm not touching that. I'm going to let that go.
Yeah. I don't want to get too much into this because I'm afraid I'll offend somebody, and I tell you, Mexico,
I offend
Mexico
people all the time.
Has got some really good. They've got a lot of great stuff that comes out of Mexico. Tequila being one of them, and something else I don't want to even talk about.
Burritos.
Yeah.
No?
The theme for some of my favorite Cheech and Chong movies. Thank you, Mexico.
I think as a kid I had a sandbox. Maybe some of that sand came from Mexico. But you know what? From now on, I'm gonna start checking products when I pick it up to see if anything came from Mexico. I'm kind of curious what all does actually come from Mexico.
That's Henche in Mexico, and that's N with an E-N.
The hell's that all about?
Made in Mexico.
I wonder what the little sticker inside the box would say. Inspected by number 12 or inspected by Jose.
I think it'd just be a number.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Uno. There's only like 3 or 4 numbers I know in Spanish, so I'm not really good with that. I don't speak any other languages. Although I can order off the Taco Bell menu pretty good.
You should check out Rosetta Stone.
No.
Have you ever tried it?
No. Well, I don't have a purpose to even speak another language.
Just for shits and you never wanted to speak another language.
No, I can speak Pig Latin. Does that count?
No, it does not count.
I watched all the Three Stooges. I have got that shit down pat.
Learn another language just so you could tell somebody to go do whatever. Go fuck off and say it in like some kind of obscure language.
Ooh, I can learn something really nerdy and learn Klingon.
Kapla!
That was terrible. Don't ever do that again. It looked like you were coughing up a hairball. Like you were licking a cat all day. Wait a minute. Were you licking a cat all day? So, I think we should probably go to another music break because you are definitely way out there with the cat thing right now. You were talking about the Russian thing. And that reminds me of something now that we're talking about that side of the hemisphere. North Korea. That little sawed-off son of a bitch that calls himself a leader. Like 4'5". What's his name? Kim Jong-un.
Kim Jong-il, I think his name is.
Yeah, I'm not
sure if that's correct or not, and there's probably people out there correcting us. I don't care.
So, I guess, he has a habit of executing those that really disagree with him or upset him in any way.
Well, that's what happens when you are the leader of a militaristic dictatorship.
Right. Temper tantrum sounds better, but okay, that we can go with that. So, I guess this one of his what do you want to call them?
Diplomats.
Was it a diplomat or was it a?
Well, I want to say
he ranks a high position.
He was a government official.
Right, there you go. Government official. Fell asleep during one of Kim's speeches.
Was it during his speech or was it at like a?
It was an event that had to do with him. Whatever.
Okay. It was.
This part isn't even like the major part of the story. This is kind of filler.
Okay. But, so you got a major government official that falls asleep during a big speech or meeting.
Whatever it was. Yeah. Anyway, this offended him. So he decided to put him to death.
Well, I think you're skipping over the story a little bit.
A little.
You need to rewind.
Okay.
You missed the whole part where he got woken up. Did you? You didn't.
Okay, yeah, he got woken up.
He got woken up and he went off on the person that woke him up and started spouting off some things that were, I assume, were along the lines as you son of a bitch, you motherfucker, you woke me up. They were words that were not nice or to the liking of their leader.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we got the gist of it. Okay. So anyway, he decides to put him to death. The punishment was death for whatever he did. Okay. Now here's the part that is important to me. To put him to death, let's not just use a regular firing squad, but let's use a anti-tank gun.
No, it was an anti-aircraft gun.
I thought it was an anti-tank.
Anti-aircraft gun.
Whatever. Are we going to debate every little part of this story?
Well, if you're going to tell the
How
story.
about this? It was a big freaking gun.
Yes. It was a big, big freaking gun.
Where the shell is a bit bigger around than your arm.
Well, I'm not sure of the caliber of the particular shell, but it's, it was definitely literally overkill.
I'm pretty sure all you saw was a red mist upon contact.
I mean, you're talking about something that would probably not only kill the target, but the firing squad behind the target.
And the only reason that I even thought this story was interesting is the fact that in this country, if you speak out or say something that's not liked, that guy puts you to death.
Well, in this country, we've had instances where well-known people or, certain politicians or even celebrities have spoken out against the government and then were mysteriously investigated by the IRS.
I'd much rather be investigated by the IRS than to be shot with an anti-aircraft gun.
Well, regardless, you have people speaking out against their government and their government retaliating against people about what, against these people speaking out. It's wrong on both sides here. Well, I can't say wrong on both. It's wrong on the government's, whatever government. It's wrong on the government's part of retaliation against a citizen for speaking their mind.
Well, and I agree that there shouldn't be. You should be able to speak your mind. I get that. But just the extreme that this guy took it to prove his point. And here I think we have these little asswipes in this country that desecrate our flag, and they don't understand why we're upset. But yet, in another country, if you was to do that, they'd put you to death. So I mean, and people don't understand that. They think this is such a terrible nation, buddy. You need to go look overseas.
Well, that's the thing. I think we spoke last week of, thinking before you act or speak, and people don't do that. In this particular situation, the United States isn't perfect. We do the best we can with what we've got, and I think every nation does that to an extent. Now, in this particular situation with North Korea, man, it's been that way. Well, it's always been that way. I mean, you're looking. That's what happens when you have a country ruled by a militaristic dictatorship. You have someone speak out. What happens if a few people listen to him? Next thing you know, you have an uprising. Next thing you know, you have a revolt. You can't have that. You got to stop it. You remember Tiananmen Square in China. Remember what happened there? You had people protesting in Tiananmen Square. And what happened? The Chinese brought in the tanks and started rolling people over, or rolled over a protester. I don't know how many more there were, but there was at least one.
Well, and that's what I'm saying. Is people really need to stop and think.
People in the United States that want to, desecrate the flag, I would say, haven't really weighed their options. That's what it really comes down to. Weighing your options. You don't like this little thing here in the United States, or somebody made a comment you don't like, so you're going to overreact and do something stupid. Well, before you do that, weigh your options and think, what if I lived in North Korea?
I'd have a huge shell shoved up my ass.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. I just, like I said, people, they don't think about what other countries go through, and then they act like it's a big sin because they're not getting their way in this country. And really, if you're born on this planet, you are not owed anything by anyone. We're all guilty in the story. If you want something, go out and earn it. Quit whining. I just don't see the point in that. We all have the same opportunities.
No.
Yeah, we do.
No.
Yeah, we do. How do we not have the same opportunities?
Well, are you talking about citizens of the United States, or people
citizens
worldwide?
of the United States? We all have the same opportunities.
Everybody has the same opportunities.
Yes.
Okay, what if your last name happens to be Rockefeller? You're not going to say you have more opportunity options than, say, if your name was Smith?
I don't think your last name dictates who you are or what you can do.
What I'm saying is, I'm putting an extreme example here. Let's say,
you're just talking about being fed with a silver spoon and not being fed with a silver spoon.
Exactly. You're fed with a silver spoon, then yes, you can grow up to be anything you want to be. However, on the flip side of that, you're not. If you don't grow up with that silver spoon, then you stand a very, very good possibility of just being screwed.
Only if you choose to be screwed.
I'm going to disagree with that.
Because there's too many instances of people that were born into poverty and raised themselves up and became something.
I would say there's not enough.
Yeah, because they don't want to.
It's not a matter of want.
Okay, well, that's true. It's not a matter of want. It's a matter of doing. If you don't do, you don't get.
I don't know, man. This could be a rough debate. I mean, especially with the various policies and so forth. I mean, now we've got policies for universities to accept a certain amount of people of different races, and there's all these different policies for different things versus just academics. I mean, you could have been a 4.0 student all the way through school and not get the scholarship because this other person over here had a 3.8 average, but the university needs other people.
Okay, so if you don't get a scholarship, that's going to stop you?
Well, when it's going to cost you, let's say $250,000 to finish out your degree, yeah, that's pretty much going to stop you.
Well, you know what?
Or let's say this. Let's say you do get a student loan. You do go to college. You go through. You graduate. But you've got the student loan, which you can't pay off because the jobs in your field either aren't available or aren't paying you enough money to allow you to pay off that student loan. And without paying off that student loan, you technically don't have a degree.
I'm just lost for words there on that.
Yeah, that's called screwed.
First of all, it shouldn't cost $250,000 to go to college.
Go tell that to your doctor.
Well, I don't want to be a doctor.
Well, you're not going to be Superman either.
Says who? I can stop a bullet once. See, your point is mute. Sorry.
Yes, but can you run faster than a speeding train? A very small one.
It depends. Are we talking scaled down? Or are we talking full size? On takeoff, yes. Once that bastard gives about 3 miles an hour, maybe not.
But America isn't the land of opportunity that it claims to be or was. Back in the 1800s, absolutely, you could come here, make your dreams come true, work hard.
You could come here, build a little hut, live out in the middle of nowhere. Yeah.
Well, that's the way it was done.
Well, right. I'm not saying it wasn't.
That's the way the frontier was conquered.
But we can't compare.
And you can't do that anymore because all the land's bought up.
You can't compare what happened when they settled the land to how it is now.
What do you mean?
You just can't walk out and claim a piece of land and build what you want. Right. Times have changed.
And we can't
use that as a comparison.
Well, I'm just saying it's not the land of opportunity that we want to claim it is.
I think it is.
I think you're partially delusional in that idealism.
You can, but I think whatever happens, you're mostly responsible for. I see these people that sit around all day and they're like, I wish I could do this or I wish I could do that. Well, stop wishing and why not do something about it? I mean, think of it this way. Let's say you have this goal that you want to obtain. Now, I want to obtain this goal, let's say by the end of the month. It's not that big of a goal that it wouldn't take. So, by obtaining this goal, what can I do every day to put myself one step closer to that goal? Because if you don't set goals for yourself or work out a plan to reach that goal, you're not going to reach it. It's just going to be a dream. We all have dreams. We all want to do something, and we all want to be somewhere. If you don't do anything to change that, it's not going to happen. And who does that fall on? It doesn't fall on the student loans. It doesn't fall on the school. It falls on you.
Okay, well,
if you're not out doing something to make your dreams come true, then you're just a dreamer, and that's it.
How does a person working 40 hours a week able to get a degree in 4 or 8 years? Well, I'm talking like, some kind of law degree or, something where they can actually make 6 figures.
Why does it got to start with a law degree, though? Why not work your way up to that?
What do you mean work your way up? This imaginary ladder you're talking about, it doesn't exist.
No, you start as a paralegal.
You start.
Now I've worked myself into a better job.
You start as a paralegal. Okay, so now you got to pay out. You got to pay off that schooling that you did for the paralegal, and it's probably going to be online schooling. Okay, it's no university you went to. You went to an online school.
What's wrong with online schools?
Well, when you look at somebody with a resume that says Ivy League college, or at least, community college or some kind of university versus University of Phoenix Online. Okay, so you got 2 high school diplomas. Give me the Ivy League guy.
I don't think it's completely true.
You don't think it's completely false either?
No, because usually it's the person that's best suited for the position.
Now who's living in fairy tale land?
No, I don't live in a fairy tale land. I see it every day. When I've hired people over the years, I didn't go by what the paper said. I went by what the people said and how they acted, and did they even care that they were there to get a job? I mean, I've had people walk in with sagging pants and hats spun backwards to get a job.
Did they get it?
Hell no, they didn't get the job. If you're going to be late for an interview with me, guess what? I don't have time for you either. So if you don't want to put the effort out to show me that you're actually interested and this means something to you, I'm not hiring you. You're wasting my time. I have never went to a job interview in my life looking like that. Matter of fact, last time I was in a courtroom, I saw people in there with shorts and t-shirts. I couldn't believe it. That's no respect at all for our judicial system. When I go to court, I make sure I look good.
Well, first of all, you want to talk about the judicial system? Let's talk about the judicial system.
No, we're not going to talk about the judicial system because we'll be here all night. I'm just talking in general. If you're not going to put the effort out, why should I put the effort out to hire you?
Well, I think what this is coming down to is even when people put in the time and effort into, making this ideal or dream or goal, whatever you want to call it, come true, and they get themselves further and further and further behind. They get further and further and further in debt, trying to better themselves to reach this goal, only to not. They fall short because they don't get the position, or the position's not available, or whatever cause. And when here in the United States, when we started sending a lot of our jobs elsewhere, that really hurt us. Corporate America has really hurt America. A lot of jobs aren't there. You want to be an accountant? Well, guess what? You're going to have to work out of Bangkok, because that's where our accounting is done. You want to work in public relations? You have to move there too. I mean, when was the last time you called tech support and got somebody with a Midwestern accent? No, you got, hello, my name is Tom from Lenexa. How can I help you? And not to make fun of the people of India or anything here.
Because that was a terrible.
Yeah, that's not what I want to do. But when was the last time you reached American tech support? It
does happen.
And why can't jobs like that be in the United States?
Because nobody wants to answer a phone for $7.50 an hour.
No, it's not that at all.
Hell, they can't flip a burger for $7.50 an hour.
It's that people people in other countries, the economies are different in other countries, and they can do it cheaper. I'm sorry, but people here in the United States cannot live off of $5 an hour. It can't be done.
I'm not going there. I just that totally off the subject of empowering yourself to do something.
Well, you can give all the empowering speeches you want, but the facts remain the same. If people can't afford it, then it becomes unattainable. And when you go to get these loans, to get this education, your credit report says 200, yeah, you're screwed.
Well, actually, there's other ways to go through school. I mean, you don't have to go get a loan. There's grants. There's many options out there.
Okay, well,
it's just not one place you go to.
Let's take your average C student. Okay, here's little Johnny. He was a C student all through school. Now he's in his 30s. He's wanting to, get some kind of schooling so that maybe he can actually have a career. He's got a shitty credit score because, he's had shitty jobs throughout, his 20s and so forth.
Right, and he bought things he couldn't afford, like
exactly.
The fancy car out in the driveway or the big screen TV.
Maybe he couldn't pay his rent one month. Maybe he got kicked out. Maybe he couldn't afford to pay his cell phone bill. That got turned off. All this bullshit stuff, adds up on his credit report. So he can't get the loan. He can't, sure as hell not going to get the grant with his academic record. So what's little Johnny supposed to do? What? He can't work in the factory because all the factories are now in Japan and China.
Not all the factories are in Japan and China.
Look at Detroit. The only thing left in Detroit is pawn shops.
Well, I guess you get a job at a pawn shop, huh?
Yeah, minimum wage, and he's stuck in the same situation he started out in. So tell me, how does this work?
I don't know. I guess my life was just a freaking miracle, and it just happened all by accident.
Maybe it was.
No, it wasn't.
Says who?
I had to bust my balls and work 2 to 3 jobs just to keep myself afloat.
But who's to say your current situation isn't because of a miracle?
I'd like to think it's because I've done my job.
Thinking and reality can be two different things.
Really? Because I don't think I've been floating by all these years on luck.
No one's saying you did. But maybe there was a divine intervention there.
A divine intervention. Yeah. I remember standing on asphalt all day, pumping gas and checking oil. And I remember having to deliver pizzas in the evening. And then on the weekends, I worked changing oil and tires just so I could make a living to keep a roof over my family's head. That wasn't luck. That was work. It's a word that most of this country doesn't know anymore. Everyone expects to be handed shit because they're too damn lazy to do anything.
I think we're ready for a music break.
I think we are too. We're back, and we're both still alive.
Miracles do happen.
I thought we might have to choke each other for a second, but we didn't.
We didn't.
We let it go.
Yep. I went for a cigarette break, and you fumed here.
I sat here and did my Frus Fraba. There's some things I do get a little passionate about, and that is one of them.
Yeah.
Only because I was one of those people that had to start at the bottom and work my way up. So, I mean, I didn't come from a rich family. I mean, every single one of my siblings dropped out of school like I did. Not one of us finished high school. Now, that's not to say that some of us didn't go on and get our diploma later at a different time and decide to further our education with other schooling. It was just easier as an adult than it was as a kid. So,
well, you know, with today's education system, or with the education system we grew up with, I found that I learned so much more on my own than I did in school. And I did.
Do you think that's because you want to learn now? As an adult, you feel like...
Well, even while I was in school, I wanted to learn. I wanted to find out new things. I wanted to know. I wanted to be able to know the answers to whatever question anyone posed to me. But what I found out in school is, you know, as you advance through the different grades, you were just rehashing what you did the year before, and you're looking at books that were printed, you know, 20 years ago, and it's like, you know, a lot of, especially in the scientific text, a lot of the information was no longer correct or relevant because, you know, of the advancement in science. And, you know, the school systems just can't keep up with modern day science. And even with history, the way history was taught, I found to be very incorrect into my, you know, with my own research and my own reading that I would do, you know, well, like how they villainize the Native Americans, you know, I found that just to be a horrific injustice to history.
Well, if strangers came to your home and started taking it over, how would you react?
The thing is, you know, they want to make the settlers the good guys. The settlers were the invaders. They were the bad guys.
Well, I don't know about bad.
They came through and slaughtered more people than Hitler.
But that wasn't all the settlers did that. But, I mean, that was...
Yeah.
There was bad. But there was people that did more. There was probably children, people, just like today, that don't want to harm other people. But then you have your other ones where they feel like, you know what, might is right.
They don't teach that in school.
Well, no.
They don't teach the fact that Columbus was a slave trading... Columbus was a horrible person. If you have ever read the Chronicles of Columbus, he was a horrible slave trading piece of crap who happened to get lost. Oh, but we got to give him a freaking holiday? Come on. And these are the type of things that history teachers in the public school system hate to deal with. Because, you know, they're intelligent people. Yes, they see the student's point. But that's not in the textbook from which you're supposed to be learning from. But when the textbook is wrong, what's the student to do?
Well, I think I found it easier as an adult to learn because there's things I wanted to know. I think as a child, I didn't care less. I could care less about history. And as an adult, I can sit down and watch things like, you know, we used to watch the History Channel stuff. It used to drive my kids crazy. They were like, this is boring. Why do you watch this? Well, because I find it interesting. As an adult, I found the history, or, you know, how our nation came about fascinating, and I wanted to learn more about it. But as a child, I was like, yeah, I don't care about none of this. I think what the problem was when I was a kid, I had too much the whole ADD thing going on, and I couldn't focus. Now, as an adult, I've learned how to focus on certain things. I know what I can do to make myself focus. As a child, I had no clue. I was everywhere. I was a daydreamer looking out the window all the time. I mean, that's pretty much where I was. So as an adult, I can hone that and I can learn. I can make myself learn things. But yeah. So that's why I was wondering, as an adult, maybe that's where you got that from.
No, I mean, even as a young kid in grade school, after school, I spent a lot of time in the libraries. When I wasn't, riding around on my bike or doing kid stuff.
Or smoking in the boys' room.
I think I spent more time smoking in the girls' room. It was always more fun in there.
Yeah.
Smelled a little odd, but it was fun.
Looks a little different in here.
You guys have doors on your stalls?
Why is there no stand-up urinals in here?
That reminds me of a concert I went to a few times.
No, we don't want to know about the concert flashbacks.
Okay.
Because I've been to a couple concerts with you, and well, yeah, it wasn't pretty at the end of the day.
It's a good thing you went, because there's a lot of concerts I don't remember.
Oh, I think there was a lot of drives home that none of us remembered.
Oh man, the drives home.
Well, the funny thing is, most of the concerts we went to, I think I was the only sober person there.
And I can't understand why you'd want to be that person.
Okay, well, here's my philosophy.
You didn't drive.
I know. Here's my philosophy behind this. If I'm going to pay all this money to go see this band that I really adore and I love, I want to remember it. I don't want to wake up next day and go, yeah, I went, but I couldn't tell you anything about it. So I've always been sober. I don't think I've ever drank at a concert. That, and I'm not paying the outrageous price for beer there either. I mean, that's just was crazy to me.
Well, there's other alternatives.
Yeah, no,
you just gotta sit in the right seats.
I had rather stay sober and remember the concert and know what I seen. I can still recall almost every concert I've ever been to. How the stage was set up, the music they played, and the light shows, all of it. And it's great because, I mean, that was part of my childhood and even some of my adulthood that I cherished. So, I mean, I remember my first concert. So,
who was your first concert?
My very first concert was Alice Cooper.
Right on.
Fox Theater in St. Louis.
Right on.
Yeah, it was Danger Danger opened up for him. I remember all the theatrics that Alice puts on stage. The big black widow spider coming out and dancing on stage. Alice cutting off his own head.
Classic.
He even killed the cameraman with his microphone stand. So, I mean, it was just the theatrics of Alice is unbelievable. I mean, if you have the opportunity to see him, I suggest it because it's well worth it.
I've always wanted to see Alice. I don't think I'd have to check my ticket stubs. Yeah, I knew when I started going to concerts, and I started going at a kind of a young age, but I knew even then to save my ticket stubs because there's a very good chance I might not remember them.
Oh, dude, my second concert was ZZ Top.
My second concert was Motley fucking Crue, baby. My first one was Scorpions, I Mother Earth, and somebody else.
Wow. Now, I had been to a lot of concerts at Six Flags because Six Flags actually had concerts,
Yeah, but those don't. They're not concerts.
I don't know. That's a pretty huge auditorium they have there. I mean, it's a big
Yeah, but what I'm saying is,
I guess amphitheater. I don't want to say auditorium. It's an amphitheater style. It's all outside.
It's not. They're more family friendly, I would imagine, at Six Flags with their concerts.
Well, yeah. Matter of fact, the two times I went there to watch a concert was to see Petra. And I mean, it's a Christian band, so even to this day, I still listen to their music. The lead singer, John Schlitt, was the singer for the band Head East.
Yeah. Yeah. I've seen Head East many times.
Yeah. But one of the original singers was John Schlitt, and then he cleaned his act up and decided he wanted to sing, I guess, Christian music or whatever, and so he went and sang for Petra.
What kind of amazes me is Head East never really did anything I would say anti-Christian. I mean,
No, but there was a lot of drugs involved. I mean, he was addicted.
Well, you're talking about bands, from the 70s. Of course there was a lot of drugs involved.
Yeah, but how many of them actually made it out alive?
More than didn't.
Well, yeah, more than did. I don't know if that's a statistic that I would really want to
Hendrix
stick to.
didn't make it.
Well, yeah.
Janis didn't make it. Jim Morrison didn't make it. But the rest of the Doors did. So I guess we could say more than 3/4 of we'll just say 75% of the bands from the 60s and 70s actually survived.
Well, and that's like
at least 75%.
Believe it or not, some music does sound better when they're actually sober and clean. Alice Cooper had a great sound all the way up to the 70s, and then it started really kind of slacking off. It got really weird for a couple albums.
Okay, wait. For you to say Alice Cooper got weird?
Well, I mean weird by
Alice
the
Cooper
style he was trying to play.
Is already, he's his own niche. He's his own.
But he decided to put himself in rehab and dry out. And after he did, the music that come out of that, as a matter of fact, he wrote an album called From the Inside, which is about his stay in this rehab and the people he met.
You take other bands like Alice in Chains. Alice in Chains before rehab was freaking awesome. Alice in Chains after rehab, lead singer dies.
Well, I mean, it's a byproduct.
Rehab doesn't work for everybody.
No, it doesn't. But I mean, some bands, actually sound better sober. So, and Megadeth. I loved Megadeth the whole thrash years all the way up. And then when he got clean and actually started making music, there was more meaning to it for me, the music. It's like he was thinking with a clearer head. You got to admit, all the albums that Megadeth put out, when Countdown to Extinction came out,
that was a great album.
Right. It was like no other Megadeth album. That was, to me, like the turning point for Megadeth. Don't get me wrong, I love the first 4 or 5 albums there, but
Killing Is My Business, that was a great album too.
But when Countdown to Extinction dropped, it had changed. The tone of it had changed. Everything.
Well, it sounded better produced. The production value went up. I don't know if was he clean for Countdown?
Yeah.
I don't know if that had anything to do with it or not. But the production value actually went up for Countdown.
You can actually look at some of the album art of pictures of the band and tell that he was totally fried out of his mind when that picture was taken.
But, I think that's just the drugs is a byproduct of the life.
Sometimes. Because there's many artists that go through that are clean and sober the whole time.
Think about it. You got 100 shows to do in a year.
Yeah.
Okay,
but yeah, look, you have Henry Rollins.
Wait a minute. I thought that was one of the douchebags we don't talk about.
Henry Rollins?
Yeah.
I like his music though.
No, he's a better talk show host than he is a musician, and he sucks at being a talk show host.
I like his music.
Yeah, so, he never ever made any music. He just made noise.
And I like that noise.
No, it's not even a good noise. Black Flag, fuck Black Flag.
I loved Black Flag.
Rollins band. Yeah, the only thing that came out of Rollins band that was good was I'm a Liar, and you know what? That fits with Henry Rollins. That motherfucker should have found some meds and stayed off them and stayed off the stage.
Don't make me start picking apart your shitty little bands.
My shitty little bands?
Yeah.
My shitty little bands. Okay, yeah. Pick apart Pink Floyd.
Oh, where to start? If you're not high, the music doesn't even make sense.
Yeah,
it's crap.
The music makes perfect sense if you have an IQ over 50.
Yeah, as long as it don't go above 60. Yeah, exactly.
For those of you listening at home.
See, so that's what I'm talking about. Just because I like something doesn't mean it's shit. It just means you didn't like it.
Oh, okay. I'll give you that.
But anyway.
But it goes both ways.
I wasn't even going to dog Pink Floyd until you started on the Rollins thing. My point is, Henry Rollins was sober his whole career. He even ran with Black Flag. And to do that and to work his whole career sober, I mean, you got to admit one thing. He had a lot of fans. He was a popular guy. So he did it sober. So, I mean, I don't... Well, maybe some people need the drugs to have talent. Maybe if he wasn't
sober, he would have had a better career.
I think he had a great career.
I think he had a shit career. He did one album with Rollins Band?
What?
How many bands did Rollins Band put out?
How many bands did they put out, or how many albums
did Rollins Band put out?
Oh, there's quite a few. I have quite a few albums from
Rollins like to Band. See the sales statistics on those albums.
Okay. It just means there's less people that have good taste. That's all.
That's an excellent response.
Thank you. I work hard on these. I spend most of my time trying to think of just witty comebacks.
But you're not going to convince me.
I'm not trying to convince you. I could care less if you listen to them or not. I mean, it's fine. I mean, but for me, I like Rollins Band. You know, have you ever listened to Henry Rollins and William Shatner do a song together? Because I have, and it's freaking genius. Oh, what? You didn't think someone as awesome as William Shatner would sit down and do a song with Henry Rollins? And I don't even like Star Trek, but I love William Shatner. I think he's awesome, man. You just can't get better than that cat.
Where am I? What's going on? Who are you?
I think you're having a bad trip. You probably sleep it off. So we're going to play a couple songs and we're going to head out of here and call it a night.